Welcome back once again, all of my low carb friends, and for those of you who are here for the first time, welcome. One of my favorite breakfast breads is zucchini bread. That light, fluffy texture with a little bit of a crusty top and a very light, sweet taste goes perfect with my cup of coffee. And so today I'm going to show you how to make a very easy keto coconut flour zucchini bread. And of course, I'm going to show you how to make it two ways, one with eggs and one completely dairy-free, including no eggs for all of my dairy-free and vegan friends. And if you want to printable versions of these, you can check out my website at janetsdeliciouslowcarbkitchen.com. You can find printable versions of these and other goodies there for you. And if you're new to the channel and you want to see lots of easy, delicious keto recipes, make sure you click that subscribe button and click the notification bell that's right next to the subscribe button. That way you could be notified every time I put out new videos every Wednesday and Saturday. And if you'd like to help support the channel, make sure you scroll down in the description of the video. You'll see some Amazon affiliate links. Anytime you purchase anything using those Amazon affiliate links, a small portion of your purchase will go to me and will help to support the channel. You'll also see a link to Jave Coffee. Anytime you purchase anything from Jave Coffee using my affiliate link, a small portion of your purchase will also go to me and help support the channel. And while you do all that, let's get cooking. Preheat your oven to 350 degrees. Line an 8 by 4 inch loaf pan with parchment paper and allow the paper to overhang on the sides just slightly so you can use these as handles to lift the bread out easier once it's baked. In a large mixing bowl, combine 3/4 cup of coconut flour, 1 cup of granulated sweetener of your choice. I'm actually using golden monk fruit sweetener, but you can use any granulated or brown sugar sweetener of your choice. You can also adjust the sweetener more or less depending on how sweet you want your bread. 1 tablespoon of baking powder, a 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and 2 teaspoons of ground cinnamon. More or less of the cinnamon depending on how much of a cinnamon flavor you want in your bread. Sift or whisk these all together until they're fully combined and there are no lumps in the dry ingredients. Add 3 large room temperature eggs. Make sure they are room temperature. This makes for a smoother batter, which makes for a more moist bread. Stir the eggs into the dry ingredients until everything is fully combined and all the dry ingredients are lightly moistened. Add 3/4 cup of the oil of your choice. I'm using canola oil. That's not the most keto-friendly oil, so you can use any oil you want. And 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract, more or less of the vanilla extract, depending on how much of a vanilla flavor you want in your bread. Stir everything all together until everything is fully combined and you have a moist, thick batter. It's going to be more along the consistency of dough than batter, I guess. Once everything is fully combined, form the dough into a ball and massage the ball for about 1 minute. This is just to make sure of the texture. You want to make sure that all of your ingredients are fully combined, that you have a smooth, moist dough, and that everything is sticking together well when you are massaging it. Your fingers should not be sticking to the dough, and your dough should not be crumbly. After you've massaged it for about a minute, form it back into the ball and place it back into your mixing bowl and allow it to sit uncovered at room temperature for about 3 to 5 minutes. This is just so you can make sure that all the ingredients are set well into place and that any excess moisture can be absorbed by the coconut flour. That way, once your bread is done baking, it won't be crumbly. Once it's set for a few minutes and all the ingredients are in place well, use a wooden spoon, press the dough a bit just to make sure of the texture. Again, you're wanting to make sure that your dough has not dried out. It still should feel moist to the touch and not be crumbly. Then gradually fold in 1 cup of shredded zucchini. You can use more or less of the zucchini depending on how much of zucchini you want in your bread. Also, if you want to, you can fold in up to about a 1/2 cup of chopped nuts of your choice if you want a little bit more texture to your bread. Sometimes I do that, sometimes I don't. So that's up to you if you want that in your bread. Either way, make sure the shredded zucchini is completely combined and evenly distributed throughout the dough. Once the zucchini is all folded in, then once again form the dough into a ball and just roll the ball of dough around in the bowl just a few times. Again, we're making sure of the texture. The texture of your dough is really important when dealing with coconut flour. You want to make sure that everything is sticking together and not crumbling or sticking to your fingers. So just roll it around in the bowl just a few times, making sure that everything is moist and sticking together well. Then form the dough into an oval shape and place it into your prepared loaf pan. Then dampen your hands just slightly and press the dough evenly throughout the loaf pan. Make sure you get it as even as possible. Then place the pan in your preheated oven and bake at 350 degrees for 45 to 50 minutes or until it's golden on top and a tester comes out clean. Once it's baked, remove it from the oven. It still will be soft, but it will firm up as it cools. Allow it to cool in the pan for at least 30 minutes or until it's firm enough to remove from the pan. After the 30 minutes and the bread is firm, use a butter knife and loosen the edges of the bread. Then carefully grasp the parchment paper handles and very carefully lift the bread out of the pan and place it on a wire rack and allow it to cool completely before slicing it. Make sure you do let it cool completely. If you try to cut it while it's warm, you run the risk of it falling apart on you. Once it's cooled completely, slice your desired size of bread slice. Place it on the serving plate of your choice. If you'd like to have it warmed, you can always pop it in the microwave for just 5-10 seconds, just enough to get a little bit of warmth to it. If you do have any leftovers, then store it in an airtight container in your refrigerator for up to 3 days. Or if you don't think you're going to eat it within 3 days, you can slice it, put some pieces of parchment paper in between each slice, place it in a freezer-safe container, and freeze it up to 1 month. Eat and enjoy. Preheat your oven to 350 degrees. Line an 8x4-inch loaf pan with parchment paper and allow the paper to overhang on the sides so you can use this as handles once the bread is done baking. In a small bowl, combine 3 tablespoons of ground flax seeds or ground chia seeds and 9 tablespoons of warm water. Use a fork and stir these together until they're fully combined. Then allow the mixture to sit for about 5 minutes or until the mixture starts becoming thick and slightly gummy in texture. In a separate large mixing bowl, combine 3/4 cup of coconut flour, 1 cup of the granulated sweetener of your choice. I'm using golden monk fruit sweetener. You can use any granulated or brown sugar sweetener of your choice. You can also use more or less depending on how sweet you want your zucchini bread. 1 tablespoon of baking powder, a 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and 2 teaspoons of ground cinnamon, more or less depending on how much cinnamon you want in your bread. Sift or whisk these all together until they're fully combined and there are no lumps in the dry ingredients. Set the dry ingredients aside for just 1 second. Check back on your bowl that has your flaxseed mixture in it. The mixture should be slightly thickened and a little bit in the gummy texture. If it's not, just let it sit for a couple minutes longer. Add the thickened flaxseed water mixture to your dry ingredients. Then stir it together until it's fully combined. Once it's combined, use your fingers and rub the dry ingredients into the flaxseed mixture until all of the dry ingredients have been very lightly moistened. Add 3/4 cup of the oil of your choice. I'm using canola oil. You can use whatever oil you want. And 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract, more or less depending on how much of a vanilla taste you want in your bread. Stir these all together until they're fully combined. Then again, use your fingers and rub all the ingredients together to make sure that everything is 100% combined. Sprinkle in 1/4 teaspoon of xanthan gum and 1/4 cup of warm water. Stir together until the xanthan gum and the water are fully combined. Then stir some more for at least another 20-30 seconds. You want to make sure that the xanthan gum is completely combined and completely dissolved into the ingredients. So you do want to make sure that you stir it in for at least 20-30 seconds. Once everything is fully combined, form the dough into a ball and massage the ball for about 1 minute. Again, this is making sure of the texture. You want to make sure that your dough is moist and everything is sticking together well, but it should not be sticking to your fingers and it should not be crumbly. After you've massaged the dough, roll it back into a ball and place it back into your mixing bowl. Allow it to sit uncovered at room temperature for 10 minutes so that the xanthan gum and the flax seeds can start binding the ingredients all together and any excess liquid can be absorbed. After the dough has sat for 10 minutes, use a wooden spoon and break up the ball a little bit. Then gradually fold in 1 cup of shredded zucchini. I'm actually using shredded yellow squash here. You can use any type of squash in these recipes that you want. Each squash has its own individual flavor, so if you want something different rather than just the zucchini flavor, you can use the yellow squash like I'm using here. You can also, if you want to, can add up to a half cup of nuts or chocolate chips or any type of other add-in you want to put into this bread to give it a little bit more texture. You're more than welcome to do that. Just make sure that your zucchini and whatever add-ins you might put in, make sure everything is fully combined and evenly distributed throughout the dough. Slightly dampen your fingers and press the dough evenly throughout the loaf pan. Place the pan in your preheated oven and bake at 350 degrees for 40 to 45 minutes or until lightly golden and a tester comes out clean. Once the bread is done baking, remove it from the oven. It still will be soft, but it will firm up as it cools. Allow it to cool in the pan for at least 30 minutes or until it's firm enough to remove from the pan. After 30 minutes, gently lift the bread out of the pan and transfer it to a wire rack and allow it to cool completely before slicing. Make sure you cool completely before slicing it. Once it's cooled completely, if you do have any leftovers, then store it in an airtight container in the refrigerator for up to 3 days. If you don't think you're going to eat it within 3 days, put it in a freezer-safe Ziploc bag or freezer-safe container, and you can freeze it up to 1 month. Eat and enjoy. And those are our recipes of the day. I hope you enjoyed them. If you did and you want to see more videos like this, make sure you click that thumbs up like button, click that subscribe button, leave me a comment if you want to. Let me know if there's any recipes that you'd like to learn how to make, and I'll do what I can to get those out there for you. And as always, keep cooking.